Welcome, my name is Peter Strong and I'm a professional online psychotherapist. If you'd like to talk to a psychotherapist online, do please go to my website and send me an email, and then we can schedule a Skype therapy session. I have been offering online psychotherapy for many years now and have seen tremendous benefits for my clients. There's no doubt that the online therapy format using Skype is just as effective as in-person psychotherapy, especially for the style of therapy that I offer, which is called Mindfulness Therapy. This is dependent less on developing a relationship with your therapist and more on teaching you practical skills that you can use to overcome difficult emotions such as chronic anxiety or depression. And that, I feel, is the most important thing, is to give you the tools that will help you overcome your specific emotional problems. And that can be taught very well online. So mindfulness therapy is a way of working with emotions like anxiety and depression, or addiction, or compulsion, or phobias, or panic attacks. It's a way of working with difficult emotions by essentially changing the habit of the way that we react to these emotions. So emotions get triggered by thoughts or by external events, and then we get lost in the conditioned reactions that ensue. So, as Viktor Frankl said, in his famous quote, there is a space between stimulus and reaction, and in that space there is choice. That space is what we develop during mindfulness training. It's the space of consciousness. It's the consciousness that opens up when we become mindful of the triggers that trigger our anxiety or depression or compulsion, and the subjective emotional reactions that are conditioned to those triggers. We can become mindful of both the triggers and our habitual reactions. And when you become mindful, you break that chain of reactivity that feeds and reinforces anxiety or depression. And that's a very important step. The most important step of all, really, is to break that habit that feeds and proliferates emotional suffering. When you develop a conscious and mindful relationship with your anxiety or depression, then that brings in the other factor associated with consciousness, which is choice. Choice to respond to your anxiety or to the triggers or to negative thought patterns or negative behaviors. The choice to respond in ways that are not reactive but are imbued with natural innate intelligence. You can begin to change those patterns into more positive patterns if you have choice. And that is the second factor of mindfulness therapy, It's a way of developing more choice in how you relate to your mind and to triggers that triggered those emotional reactions. This is very important. One of the most important responses that leads to positive change, as opposed to reinforcing those old habits, is the response of compassion or friendliness or love towards your own emotions and reactive patterns. This is what really allows those patterns to change. The emotions need your conscious acceptance and friendliness in order to change and in order to transform themselves. The more typical habit is to react to our unpleasant emotions with hatred and avoidance. Those reactions simply strengthen the anxiety or other painful unresolved emotions. But the response of conscious friendliness and acceptance, that produces very different results. That will lead to the resolution and healing of the anxiety and depression. This is what it needs more than anything else, your conscious, mindful presence. When you bring that to emotional suffering, it heals. And that is a law of the mind. That's how the mind really works. And that's what we focus on during mindfulness therapy. We do this by meditating on our mind, not trying to get rid of emotions, not trying to get rid of thoughts, not trying to empty the mind. No, but rather learning how to change our relationship to the mind, to the thoughts, to the emotions, to the reactions, and all of the other conditioned content of the mind. We want to change that relationship from one of unconsciousness to consciousness, from aversion and avoidance to friendliness and acceptance. This produces the most direct and powerful and lasting changes that you will ever experience. So if you'd like to learn more about mindfulness therapy and you'd like to talk to a mindfulness-based psychotherapist online, then please go to my website and email me to schedule a Skype therapy session. Thank you.